Hello, this is Shelly Ungerink with Heartland Realty. I'm talking today again about real estate. Hope you've tuned into my other video, so you already know that. And we're going to talk in this one a little more about buyers and what they can do to be prepared to get on the market and be able to start searching for their house. So and I'm trying to address things that people ask me often, or things that come up, to kind of just give a more broad explanation of these things. So one of the things I know that a lot of buyers will ask when they call the office and they're excited and they want to see a house, and then they're frustrated because one of the first things that I think most all agents, if not all agents, will say is, do you have a pre-approval and have you talked to a loan officer? I just want to stress to buyers that are maybe thinking about shopping for a new home how important that really is your first step. And there are various reasons for that. And number one, it really is important for you to know your budget. Like maybe right now, for example, you pay $700 a month in rent. And so, you want a house payment in that same range. So you need to talk to a loan officer and tell him, this is about how much I want my payment to be, how much can I afford on my house, and he'll work through that with you depending on how much of a down payment you have. I mean, there's obviously a lot of things that go into that. So that's what you're going to do, and it's important to do that if at all possible before you start shopping, so that we're shopping in the right price ranges. Also, keep in mind that people that are listing their house are opening their house and they don't necessarily, not to be rude, want just anyone coming in to look at their house. They want to know that we are showing the house to qualified buyers who absolutely can buy their house. Otherwise, it's just a tourist attraction, so they're really, it's only fair to them to make sure that you're pre-approved, that you're pre-qualified, and that if you would decide to buy this house, that you can do it. It's also important for you so that you don't get your hopes set on buying a house and then find out later that you can't for one reason or another. So one of the most important things, obviously, that your loan officer is going to look at is your credit score. So you want to, make sure you do all the right things to keep your credit score high. And that's kind of another video and kind of more of an area for a loan officer to talk to you about. But your credit score obviously is going to come into play. So when you call the loan officer to get a qualification, that's what they're going to look at. But they're also going to be looking at, your debt to income ratio. How much you make and how much is already going out, to other bills that you already have. So that's what your debt to income ratio is going to obviously come into play, with how high you might get approved for. And then they're also going to they're going to ask you for how much you make a year. And this is really, you wouldn't think a hard question, but honestly, most people don't always know what their W-2 forms say. So, if you can, actually look at your pay stubs for the last 30 days, look at your W-2, because that's what your loan officer is going to be asking you for. And make sure you're giving your loan officer the right information so they can give you the right pre-approval. And that'll just make things go so much smoother, all the way through. So I would say, if at all possible, when you start looking at houses and you start really getting serious about buying a house, that is something that you need to do, is to get a pre-qualification letter. And if you have an agent picked out, and hopefully that's me at Heartland, but if it's not, make sure you talk to your agent maybe about what loan officers they frequently work with. A loan officer is something that you can choose. You can pick anybody you want to do your loan. It's not something that should be forced upon you, but there certainly are agents and loan officers that work frequently together, and that sometimes can make the process smoother. And you might want to, try to stay with a loan officer that your agent has recommended, unless you have someone of your own that that you're planning to use already. So those are some important tips. And if you have any other questions or any comments about this video, please let me know. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.